Okay, so today we're going to be going over density word problems. I'm not going to do the whole sheet, but I'm going to do some of them. This should be in your packet, and we're going to work through them together. I'm going to work on them on the spare sheet of paper, though, so you need to keep up with what number we're working on. So the first one, number 1, says, what is the density of an object with a mass of 120 grams and a volume of 7 milliliters? So the first thing that we do is we write know and need. So our question automatically tells us that we're looking for density because it says, what is the density? So that means we automatically know that we need density. And then it says the mass of 120 grams. So our mass is 120 grams. That means we also know the volume. And it says a volume of 7 milliliters. So the volume is 7 milliliters. We know density's formula is mass divided by volume. So we fill it in, 120 grams divided by 7 milliliters. And when we do the math, we get 17.14. Now, I have grams on top and milliliters on bottom. Nothing is the same, so you have to take the whole thing and transfer it over. So it's grams over milliliters. And we circle our answer. Number 2. We write know and need. Number 2 says, what is the volume of 120 grams of an object with a density of 55 grams per centimeters cubed? So we automatically know we're looking for volume. So we need volume because it says, what is the volume? So we need volume. That means it's giving us mass and density. So it says of 120 grams. So it doesn't just come right out and say the mass is, but we know that grams is for mass. It's our unit for mass. So we've got 220 grams. And then it says with a density of 55 grams per centimeters cubed. So we're going to say density is 55 grams per centimeters cubed. Well, we know that we normally solve density, but we're going to use our magic triangle. And our triangle has mass on top and then density and volume. And whichever one you need, you cover up and it gives you the formula. So if you need volume, it gives you mass divided by density. If you need density, you cover it up. You've got mass divided by volume. And if you need mass, you cover it up and you have density times volume because they're beside each other. So our formula for volume, we cover it up and we have mass divided by density. We've got mass divided by density. So we've got 220 grams divided by 55 grams per centimeter cubed. When we when we divide 220 by 55, we get 4. Now, we've got grams on top and grams on bottom. So these cancel, and we're left with centimeters cubed. So that's what our units are. And we're going to circle our answer, or square our answer in. Number 3, we automatically write know and need. It says we have an object with a density of 620 grams per centimeters cubed and a volume of 75 centimeters cubed. What is the mass of the object? So it told us that we know the density, which is 620 grams per centimeters cubed, and we know the volume, which is 75 centimeters cubed, but we need the mass. Well, going back to our triangle, we need mass. So we cover mass up, and it gives us density beside volume, so they're multiplying. So mass equals density times volume. Density is 620 grams per centimeters cubed. Volume is 75 centimeters cubed. When we multiply these two things together, we get 46,500. Now, I know that this is not on a fraction, but in math, if you have something, if you have a number, and you turn it into a fraction, you put it over 1. So now we've got centimeters cubed on top, centimeters cubed on bottom, so they cancel, and we're left with just grams. So grams is our unit, and we circle our answer. So that's number 3. Moving on to number 4. It said, what would be the mass of number 3 in kilograms? All right, so we've got 46,500 grams. Well, we know to go from grams to kilograms, we have to move 3 places to the left. So we've got 46.5 kilograms. Okay, on number 5. We write know and need. And we read it. A block of wood has a mass of 180 grams. It is 10 centimeters long, 6 centimeters wide, and 4 centimeters thick. What is the volume and its density? Okay, so we know that we have the mass. So the mass is 180 grams. But we need volume and we need density. Well, we know in order to solve for density, we have to solve for volume first. And our formula for volume of a solid, of a rectangle or a regular solid, is length times width times height. So volume equals length times width times height. On number 5, the length is 10 centimeters, the width is 6 centimeters, and the height is 4 centimeters. So we've got 10 times 6 is 60, times 4 is 240. Now I've got centimeters times centimeters times centimeters. So it's centimeters cubed. If I just had centimeters times centimeters, it would be centimeters squared. But there's 3 centimeters. So that's our volume. Now we have to solve for density. Density equals mass divided by volume. Our mass was 180 grams divided by the 240 centimeters cubed. When we divide 180 divided by 240, we get 0.7 grams per centimeters cubed. And that's our answer for number 5. Okay. On to number 6. We write know and need. So it says a 500 gram piece of metal has a volume of 2.75 centimeters cubed. What is its density? All right, so we know that it says 500 grams. So that's our mass because it's grams. And it says the volume is 2.75 centimeters cubed. So we need density. So our formula is density equals mass divided by volume. Our mass is 500 grams divided by the 2.75 centimeters cubed. 500 divided by 2.7, we get 181.8 grams per centimeters cubed, and that is our answer. On to number 7. We write our know and our need. Number 7 says, find the volume of 20 grams of benzene. All right, so just from the question, you have no clue what anything is about benzene. But down here on the common densities, it tells us that benzene's density is 0.88 grams per milliliter. So we know the density of benzene is 0.88 grams per milliliter. And from the question, it told us that the volume We don't know. We're trying to find it. So it says find the volume. So we know we need volume. And it says the mass was 20 grams. Going back to our triangle, we're covering up volume. So we have mass over density. So that's our formula. Mass is 20 grams. Density is 0.88 grams per milliliter. When we divide these out, we get 22.7. Now, I've got grams on top, grams on bottom. They cancel. I'm left with just milliliters. So those travel over. And 22.7 is my answer. All right, the rest of those you're going to do on your own.